Welcome to the channel. My name is Mark. This is Man on a Mission Fishing. In today's video we're going to talk about crankbait fishing. I like to throw a lot of cranks all the way from surface waking baits all the way up to deeper diving crankbaits. We're going to start with some of the few baits that I like to throw in the certain depth ranges, and then we'll also kind of touch on the rods and reels that I use for each presentation. The reels are going to be pretty much the same, as you'll note as we go through this video. The rods are a little bit different. So let's start shallow, 0 to 3 feet deep, let's say. I like to throw my all-time favorite wake bait. I don't think they make it anymore. I've got enough to that I don't really worry about losing them too much when I fish that shallow. I don't really throw these out deeper than probably 5 feet. I like to throw these right up on the bank, generally in like overcast conditions, misting rain, things like that, and then crystal clear lakes in the fall when the fish push up shallow on the feed. I like to throw this a lot shallow next to docks around sparse weed cover. It's a DT Fat by Rapala. Really awesome bait. They come in many, they came in many different colors. I don't even know if they make these anymore. I haven't bought any in quite a few years. I have plenty that are lasting me because I bought so many. Really cool bait. Just wakes on the surface. So you cast this thing out, let it sit, let the kind of like a topwater bait. You throw it out, let it hit, let it sit until the circles from the when it hits the water, the circles will disperse out. Once they kind of dissipate, then I'll just slowly start cranking this thing. And a lot of times they'll hit it while it's sitting there still. They just can't take that, or they'll hit it within the first 3 to 5 feet that you're reeling it in. Now I have had bites all the way up right next to the boat on this as well, but for the most part they usually hit it as it's sitting or just within the first like 10 feet that you retrieve. Slow retrieve. You work your retrieves differently. I like a slow, steady retrieve. I have used this as a slow retrieve and then stop, let it come back to the surface. It generally dives, if you reel a little bit faster, it generally dives, it's less than a foot. But I like to keep it right under the surface so that it kind of gives that wake. Very good bait. Love this bait. Probably one of my top 3 crankbaits ever. I just love this thing. Another bait that I really like in that 3 foot or less range is another bait that they don't make anymore. It's an Arashi squarebill. They make these silent and with rattles. This one happens to have a rattle in it. They make these like 3 foot and 5 foots. This is the 3 foot version. I've got a bunch of 3s and a bunch of 5s. Generally like to throw this in the 5 foot range, kind of through sparser weeds, rip it off the weed tops and stuff. That's one of my favorite crankbaits to throw. This one is just basically a cast out and reel it in and rip it through the weeds. Now for that Rapala DT Fat, I like to throw that on a real long rod. The rod that I use is a straight graphite rod. It's not a composite or a glass rod. It's a heavy action. It says that it's an extra fast, but the bend in the rod really is more of a moderate to moderate fast. It's got a real big bow in it, and I like to throw that on one of my favorite reels, which is a Lew's BB1 Pro. Can't remember the gear ratio on that thing. I think it's between a 6.3 and a 7.5 maybe. I can't remember. I'm sorry. Didn't do my preparation correctly, but you can see I've got the DT Fat on here right now. This is a 7'10" rod. Bought this on clearance on Tackle Warehouse. I was looking for heavy duty rods, long rods to throw Carolina rigs on and football jigs. And when I got the rod, it ended up working out great for the Carolina rig. And then I thought, hey, it's got such a nice bend in it, I'll throw crankbaits on this sucker too. It's an old Quantum. They don't make these anymore. An old Quantum Vapor, 7'10", heavy, extra fast. Ends up being a great wake bait rod. Now for the Arashi square bill, I throw that on another discontinued rod. Most of my rods are old, so I just kind of give you the general stats. Now this one is on a BB1 Lose. It's not the pro version, it's just a regular BB1. Again, can't remember the gear ratio. I think it's 7.3 or something like that. This has another shallower crankbait, a little bit similar to that Arashi, but this is a Booyah XCS square bill. This one is in chartreuse and black. I was throwing this on a little bit darker water. You can see that. This is a crankbait they still make. It's basically just a square bill. This one has no rattle. This is a silent one. So generally throw the silent ones in the clear water, but with this color you can throw this in the darker water as well. This rod is a 7'4". This is a composite rod. I think it's made for cranking. It's an old Daiwa Cronus, 7'4". I think this is a heavy as well. This has got a nice bend in it as well, but it's a little bit more robust, and you can rip these baits out of the tops of the weeds when it gets caught. And that's when a lot of your bites will happen, is you'll get these baits hooked in the tops of the weeds. Give them a pop. Once it pops off the weeds, they'll eat it. This is a really good combo for that, because this rod is nice and stiff. Can't really do that with a glass rod because they got too much bend. They just kind of feels like a wet sock when you pull them out of the weeds. So let's see, another shallower. Let's go from that 0 to 3 up to 5 foot. Let's go from like 3 foot to 6 foot deep. A couple of baits that I like to throw in there. Here we go. Here's the old KVD hard knock. This one is a red one, black back, craw pattern on it. This one I believe is a hard knock, so it's got a rattle in it. This is a definite catcher. It's a 1.5. This one definitely works in the heavier weeds. On the darker water, red in the spring. I find that you can throw red anytime and they'll bite it. But this hard knock by Strike King, KVD, that's a good bait. Another one of my favorites is the it's not a silent bait, it's another knocker, is the Fat Boy by Norman Fat Boy. Another square bill. That one's got a little bit heavier of a rattle. You can hear that. This happens to be a custom painted wood by Frank Scalish. He paints a lot of things for Norman. Great little bait. Same little square bill in that 4 to 6 foot range, just ticking the tops of the weeds. Another great one for that would be, obviously this is one of my favorites. I caught so many fish on this past summer. This is a Bagley Pro Sunny Bee, little square bill. Now they make these in a variety of depths. Some of them have big long bills, some of them have these short little square bills. This is a great profile. This bait catches a lot of fish. Caught a lot of smallmouth on this year. Great bait, Pro Sunny Bee. Another bait that they make that is awesome. This is a silent bait. That Pro Sunny Bee was silent as well. No rattle in that. That's a clear water bait. Comes in some great colors. This one is also a silent bait. This is more of a flat side bait. This is the Fritz side. I think this is a 5 or 7, can't remember exactly. This is a clear water bait. Throw this thing over the tops of the weeds again. Great bait. Still make it. Love it. For all of these baits, I'll throw most of these on that Daiwa 7'4" heavy, and in some cases when the weeds are not super thick, I'll throw it on my I'll throw it on this rod right here, which is a St. Croix Legend glass rod. It's got the BB1 on it by Luz. This has one of my other favorite crankbaits. Where I was just gonna get to it is a DT6. DT6, great little color here. See if I can get this rod to stay here without falling down. It's a great DT6 dial or Rapala. Can't beat that. That's a silent bait. That's a flat out fish killer. That's one of the best crankbaits made. All of the DT series for Rapala are fantastic. I got another one coming up here, and I'll mention another one that I don't happen to have with me, but this is a 7'11" rod. This is a glass rod. This is a heavy, moderate action. It's got, it's glass, so it's got a pretty big, moderate bend in it, real soft tip on it. They really inhale the baits on these glass rods. That's one of the reasons I like them so much, is the fish can really get the bait when they hit it. And this rod I will throw in that 5 to all the way out into 20 feet really, but I happen to like that 7'10" graphite rod for deeper than like 15 feet, 16 feet, because it's harder to get the hooks in them with this glass rod when you're fishing that deep. You have to make such a long cast. Even with the heavy action, this glass rod is a little soft. It's a little bit harder to keep them pinned. All right, I was gonna go, oh, DT6 I mentioned, right? DT6. This is a different color, parrot. Great bait, Rapala, DT6. Another one of the shallower cranks right here, Model A Bomber. That's got more of a, doesn't have a square bill, it's got more of a rounded bill on that. This one has a knocker in it as well. Model A is old school killer. I really enjoy that bait too. And on a lot of these lighter baits that dive in that 7 to 12 foot range, like this is another one of my favorites. This is a Norman middle end. Great little bait. It's got the round bill on it. It's got a rattle in it. Great bait. On these lighter baits like this, many colors in this too. This is a really good bait in a lot of different colors. Norman makes some great crankbaits, and they're not that expensive either. So that's in these lighter baits like this, I like to throw those. I've got another glass rod here that I throw these on, because I generally don't make the super long casts with those. This is a Falcon. This is a Falcon crankbait rod. I've had this rod for I don't know how many years, 20 years. This is a heavy, moderate action, glass, super soft tip. Can really fling those baits out. It happens to have another one of my favorite baits that they don't make anymore. Was throwing this later in the year. This is a old school Rapala Risto Rap. So the Risto Rap they don't make anymore, but I still like to use them. That dives a little bit deeper. That's, you know, in that 10 to 13, 14 foot range. Great little bait on this Falcon glass 7 foot rod. You can flick out these light crankbaits with this rod really good. Got the BB1 on here again by Luz. favorite reel. A little bit deeper here. Here's another Fritz side. This is the deeper. It's got a coffin bill on it. It's got a little weight in the end, so it dives a little bit deeper. It's silent again. Little Fritz sides. Can't beat those, especially in cooler water. It's kind of like an old school shad wrap by Rapala, which I also have a bunch of that I throw. Don't happen to have one in the lineup here I'm showing you today, but I do throw those as well. Now let's go a little bit deeper than that 10-foot range. We'll get into that 10 to, I don't know, 12, 14-foot range, and then I'll make a couple of honorable mentions for deeper than that. These I would definitely throw on that St. Croix Legend Glass heavy action. They throw real well on that. Obviously, DT Rapala, DT10, DT12, DT16. They all work great. This happens to be in the perch color. Fantastic bait. Can't go wrong with Rapala in clear water, especially up here, up north. It's the crankbait to have, the Rapalas. Another one that I throw on occasion, not as much as these others. This one's got the bill is a little beat up from dragging on the rocks and such. This is an old Bandit 300. A little bit smaller bait, smaller profile, dives pretty deep, got a rattle in it. I like the Bandit 300s. Good bait. And then the old killer. Original wiggle wart, of course. Can't beat the wiggle warts. I've got a fairly good, I don't have a ton of these. I've got, I don't know. This is the color that I have the most of. I don't even know what it is, an old craw color. They don't make these anymore, of course. The new wiggle warts are not the same as these old ones. The old ones actually say wiggle wart on the bill. I don't know if you can see it here. I don't know if that shows or not, but it actually says wiggle wart across here. The new ones say storm, I think, on there. I've got some of the new ones as well. I've caught fish on them. They're just not the same as the old wiggle wart. This is a gangster crankbait for up here. Throw it right on the weed edge, over the tops of the weeds. Love them. And those are the crankbaits that I wanted to show you today. Those are the ones that I use the most. I do throw a few that are deeper than that. Don't happen to have them in the house with me. They're out in the shed. I can give them a honorable mention, maybe flash a picture up of those as well. Obviously, if you want to go deeper than like 10, 12 feet, you get into the DT16s, the, what is it, the 8XDs, 6XDs by Strike King. I've got some old Arashi deep divers that I've caught a lot of fish on in a couple of different colors as well. Those are circuit board lips, kind of like this Arashi square bill. They got the circuit board lip instead of the molded plastic lips. I had some old metal lipped crankbaits as well. The old, what are they? The old Hottentots and a few of those older storm lures had metal lips on them. I've thrown those in the past as well, caught fish on them, but I tend to like to stick to these plastic lips or the circuit board lips. I think some of those Ott Garage Rapalas have the circuit board lips. I've thrown those. Those are more of the flat-sided ones as well. I have a few of those in my bag over here, my tackle box over here as well, but I don't throw those as much. Just kind of wanted to show the ones that I throw the most and the most familiar with. So that's kind of all I had for baits. Let's talk about line. So the lowest pound test that I go is generally like 10 pound, and I'll go up to about 14. I don't really like to go any more than that. I guess if I'm throwing the real deep divers, which I do not do as much, but if I'm throwing like a 20 plus foot crankbait, then I guess I might go all the way up to 17, but always throw it on fluorocarbon. When I'm shallow in the weeds, sometimes I'll throw braid, so that it can tear through the weeds a bit better. But for the most part, I like to stick to fluorocarbon. It sinks, allows the bait to get a little bit deeper. I kind of like them not being able to see it as well. I think they can see and feel that braid a little bit better than fluorocarbon. One other thing I wanted to mention was how to attach the crankbait to your line. A lot of times you can tie direct to the O-ring that's on there, but it doesn't hurt to add like a snap. Now the old school Wiggleworts came with a snap right on it. See? I mean, each bait came with a snap on it, and I still use these snaps, but I found that sometimes those can come undone, and I generally have switched. When I do use a snap, I generally use the old Norman speed clip. Now they're kind of hard to open. I don't know if you can see it real well here. They're kind of hard to open. They're small, but they overlap a little bit. I don't know if you can see this when you open it. It overlaps, and those things are not going to come undone at all. There's no way. And they make them, I think they make them in two sizes. There's a large and a medium. I think these are the mediums. The larges are really big, and they probably would work all right for any of these baits really, but I kind of like these. I bought a pack of these mediums. They came in like a 50 pack or something like that. I've had them for 25 years, and I haven't used them all up yet, so I haven't bought any new ones, so I'm still using them. But that's generally how I attach my crankbaits to my line. Now, varying retrieves is kind of a key for crankbait fishing. You always want that bait moving erratically, either bouncing off bottom or off the weeds, off a log. You want it to move erratically. That triggers fish. So generally up here, if I'm not dragging it on the bottom, if I'm not ripping it from weeds, I will always retrieve in with the rod and not the reel. So I will cast it out, I'll reel it down to depth, and if it's not hitting bottom, or if it's over the tops of the weeds, or if I'm just fishing over the top of a school of fish, like if there's a school of bass off a point, or there's smallies on a rock hump or whatever, a lot of times you can cast over the top of them. That's why minnow shaking is so good now, right? Because they can cast out, let their minnow fall, and then shake it over the top of them, and they'll come up and get it. Same thing with crankbaits. You can see those fish down there. You can throw that crankbait over the top of them, reel it in, have it about halfway down, just so it's above the fish, and reel it. And you can either burn it, and they'll come up and hit it. Kind of like when you fish spinner baits. Throw that up there, and you can just burn that sucker in, and they'll come up and hammer it. Same thing with crankbaits. Or you can use a pump style retrieve, which is what I do the majority of the time. Cast it out, reel it down to depth, stop, pull it with your rod tip, reel up the slack, pull it with your rod tip, reel up the slack, just rinse and repeat that all the way back to the boat. A lot of times they'll hit it on the paws, or just as you're engaging the reel. Also like to, burn and then just stop, burn, and that's not with the reel, not pulling with the rod, but with the reel. Burn it, stop, burn it, stop. And then, as I said before, hitting objects, the bottom, logs, rocks, weeds. Weeds are real important here in the North Country. Fish really react to weeds. Some of the biggest fish I've ever caught on crankbaits have come dragging it across rock points on the rocks, or throwing it right up over the top of milfoil or on the edge of cabbage or something, ripping it through those weeds when it hangs up, give it a big pop using that heavier action composite rod, pulling them right through the weeds. As soon as it breaks free, bam, they're on there. That's really all I had to say for my crankbaits. I have a lot more baits over in the tackle box over there, a lot of different brands, a lot of different baits, but I thought I would just kind of show you the ones that I have the most confidence in, the ones that I use the most, and hopefully if you stay a member of the channel and watch some videos this summer, you'll see me using some of these baits. I can guarantee you, you'll see me throwing the wake bait, the Arashi, the Bagley Pro Sunny B, the Wigglewort, and of course the rest of the DT series. All of these baits are going to be used this summer. They're all great. So thanks much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. My name is Mark. I'm in the tackle room. I'll see you next time.